All right. You know what? I bet that's going to get the back of my head. Let's move this. Better. All right.
They say to live and learn. But what if one bad decision took your life? There'd be no more time to learn, right? This is why we must listen and learn wholeheartedly from others' wrong decisions before we too face the same fate. Bailey Goodman and 4 of her best friends were on their way to a cottage in East Bloomingfield, New York. This was a trip they'd been planning for months in order to celebrate their high school graduation. Bailey, the driver, received a text message on her phone. 4 seconds later, the car swerved and hit an oncoming tractor-trailer traveling at 60 miles an hour. 4 seconds later, all 5 girls were died upon impact. This story could have happened to any of us. I learned from my class survey that each one of us here today has participated in distracted driving. Every single one of us in this room today is in danger. I too am guilty of this action. And just like many of you, I'm aware of the danger that have the "it can never happen to me" attitude. But contrary to this common attitude, research shows us it can happen to us, all of us. Today, I'd like to change that. I have conducted research in preparing for my speech and have come across frightening statistics. I have concluded that enforcing a law would not be enough to stop us from putting ourselves in danger. I feel education, revealing the cold, hard facts and the true, heartfelt stories, will be the only way to deter us. We are the only ones that can stop ourselves from putting ourselves in danger. Let's start by seeing how big of a problem distracted driving actually is. Distracted driving has become a widespread epidemic. Matthew Roenzer of the Human Performance Lab once said, "You don't really multitask. You switch your attention from one thing to the other." According to a USA article today titled, "It's Dumb to Text While You Drive," today there are nearly 280 million wireless users in the United States. 21% of those 280 are trying to use their cell phones while they drive. That 21% equals nearly 58.8 million people. Those 58.8 million people are putting themselves and those around them in danger each time they partake in distracted driving. However, the problem does not stop there. As the number of cell phone users continues to grow, so does the number of people on our roads. This in turn creates a very dangerous situation. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, agrees with me. They found in a safety that nearly 6,000 deaths each year are attributed to distracted drivers. Numbers, percentages, seems like a lot of things. I'm encouraged to round or not overdo. Percentages and numbers can be the reason why you will or will not do something. Please listen closely to the impact of the numbers. It can and will save lives. A study done by the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute found that a driver is 23 more times likely to get into an accident, while a driver dialing a cell phone is 5.9 times more likely to get into an accident than a driver focused solely on driving. Though we may not drive on campus each day, remember just about 3 months back when we were all in our hometowns. Would you hesitate to pick up or make a phone call, to read or send a text message? Now recall those numbers. 23 times more likely to get into an accident, 5.9 times more likely to crash. You, by your own will, are putting your life and the lives of those around you in danger. Imagine yourself sending a quick text message. You look to the side and see the driver right next to you is texting also. A very plausible situation. If you're doing it, why can't he? Combined, you two are 46 more times likely to get into an accident than if you're both not texting. These plausible situations do not end here though. Imagine the unavoidable distractions. Poor weather conditions, crossing deer, distractions out of our control combined with distractions we voluntarily partake in, a death sentence if you ask me. So putting the endless possibilities aside, we ask, what are the chances the drivers next to you are fiddling with their cell phones? According to NHTSA, 8% of all people at any given moment are using their cell phones while trying to drive. Just about a year ago, the National Safety Council found that distracted drivers are responsible for over 600,000 traffic accidents and nearly more than 33,000 injuries. This is equal to nearly 50 deaths in cell phone-related accidents per week. Consider that statistic next time you want to use your cell phone while trying to drive. So we ask, would a hands-free device help lower the death toll? I am asserting no. The fact is, both hands-free and handheld cell phones are distracting drivers. States that allow hands-free cell phone are not preventing their drivers from the dangers of multitasking while driving. In fact, they are essentially pretending that their roads are safer. John Atkin supports this statement. Allowing hands-free cell phones really gives a driver a false sense of safety. As long as the drivers are allowed to use any type of cell phone while driving, the dangers of doing both tasks simultaneously will still exist. In short, there are many different numbers and experts to say the same thing. We are in danger. And worse, we're endangering ourselves. So now that we've addressed that there's a severe problem, let's explore the main cause. The numbers of accidents caused by multitasking while driving are so high because these drivers are distracted. Tests done by both the University of Minnesota and the University of Utah prove that failing with a car radio or using a cell phone while trying to drive can cause a driver to perform as poorly, if not worse, than a drunk driver. The use of cell phones slows down the driver's reaction time and his or her ability to make sudden changes. The National Safety Council also states that texting causes an increase in the amount of drivers' eyes off the road. It is clear that accidents happen way too often, but most of them can be avoided. Actually, it is estimated that 636,000 traffic accidents can be avoided. Without these 600,000 accidents or more, who knows how many lives can be saved? But one thing is for sure, cell phone-related accidents would not account for every 1 in 3 teen deaths. Let me lay this 1 in 3 statistic out for you. 100% of our class admitted to partaking in cell phone-related distracted driving. Ross, you're dead because of texting. Dan, you're dead because of answering a cell phone. Jay, dead. We Brooke here, Brooke would be dead. These deaths can be avoided. Our deaths can be avoided. So we ask, would enforcing a law work? Unless there's action taken immediately about the use of cell phones while driving, the U.S. will continue to see an increase on the death toll on our roads. From my survey, I learned some of you would agree. You added that it would be difficult to enforce the law. You also informed me that some of your home cities have laws already, which have proved to be essentially useless. Studies done by the Highway Loss Data Institute agree with you. They've examined insurance claims before and after handheld bans took effect. They found no reduction in the number of crashes. Just based off the information we have from our class members today, we've proved that no matter what ban or how large a fine, it would be ineffective. Because of this feeling many of us have, I've come up with the only solution I feel will stop this widespread epidemic. Drivers themselves must stop putting themselves in danger. Voluntary compliance would immensely lower the death toll. I assert that if we educate ourselves about the dangers of distracted driving, we would make a huge difference in our safety. One way would be to present ourselves and our loved ones with the cold facts. We must rid ourselves of this "it can't happen to me" attitude. It can happen to us, and each one of us is a victim of distracted driving. Our actions can result in injury, or worse, death. Remember Bailey and her 5 friends celebrating their high school graduation I spoke about earlier? 4 seconds after receiving a text message, all 5 girls died upon impact. I, along with others who have addressed this issue before me, feel that if Bailey the driver was educated in the horror stories involved with distracted driving, she would have resisted the urge to text while driving. So learn from Bailey's mistake, save your life, and don't partake in distracted driving. Thank you.